This is Will Montgomery, former Washington Redskins center.
Yo, what's good, folks? This is Trey Johnson, the headbanger, yo, and you're listening to Mess Hall with Captain and Tailgate Ted. Word.
What's going on, Rally? How was your weekend, man?
Hey, man, it was a great weekend. It was really good. The weather finally cooperated for us, and we had some sunshine, so I was happy about that. What about you?
Nice, man. Yeah, I spent mine at the beach. Still actually hanging out here right now. Not
Okay.
complaining. Waves
Lucky
could have
man.
been better. Yeah, there really were no waves. That part kind of sucked. But the beers were cold. Orange crushes were cold. So it was a good time, man. And no concussions. So, hey, so far I'm 2 for 2 on weekends, surviving.
Can't ask for anything better than that. But did you play any pickleball?
I actually did. And didn't get hit in the head. So, hey,
You survived. See, there you go. You got a 3
So
for
I signed up for another tournament in August 24th. So if you guys don't see me at the Patriots game on the 25th, then check your local hospitals. Maybe send a little search party out to find me because I'm playing the 24th and the 25th, and I plan on going to the game afterwards. So fingers crossed it'll be okay.
Well, I mean, you're not cooking or anything, so I mean, all you got to do is just show up and just go to your seat, and you'll be fine. So even if you did have a concussion, you'd be all right.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely not missing a game because of something stupid like that. But no, we don't cook for preseason. So if anyone is cooking, I'm going to be hungry because I'm going to be playing all morning long. So send me an invite to your tailgate for a change. I wouldn't mind stopping by.
Definitely, that makes 2 because I need that in my life.
Well, I could do the rounds with you, walk around the parking lot, but I might need a cooler scooter or something to get around the lots after running around for 2 days.
You know, man, if there was a way that I could store that sucker, prior to going into the game in a locker, I would think about buying one because I don't want to go all around and then have to go back to the car just to walk back. So, but it's still something that I'm thinking about. What's the battery life on those things?
So the one I had, it lasted me, I want to say 4 or 5 hours. And they've got a gas powered one that, I mean, you don't got to worry about battery because it's gas. So I didn't want the gas powered one because I don't want to have gas sitting inside the tailgate van. And next thing you know, something happens and then I'm a big fiery mess on the Beltway.
Not good.
But if they have like bike racks at the stadium, you figure you could just chain that thing up there.
Yeah, that's a possibility. It's a possibility. Maybe I'll look into it a little bit deeper because people have told me that they're in different parts of the lots that I don't normally go to, and so I'm just like, look, I'm already walking halfway around the world. So, but if with that, it would help me out a lot. But the problem is, if I get one, I gotta get someone else one. So, and that's a little difficult to do. So, I'll probably be more enjoying.
Man.
I'll be
we get
more
you like a big cooler.
I work better by myself.
I hear you, man. I hear you. The wife hated when I rode around that thing. She was so embarrassed, and we were still dating. We weren't married yet.
Okay.
I mean, I would deliver food to like Clinton Portis and the family, and I dropped food off for like Chick Hernandez and all the guys in the broadcast booth when they used to broadcast out at FedEx. And like B Mitch and the guys would text me orders of food and stuff they wanted. And it was a good time. And I do miss doing it, but I don't have physically enough room in the tailgate van because it's full of all the grills, all the gear, just everything.
I've seen that thing. I mean, you've got it to the hilt, bro. To the hilt.
I can't even give her a ride to the game anymore because there's too much stuff in there. So, she just Ubers there. Yeah. And she also probably doesn't want to get there at 6:30 in the morning for a 1 o'clock game.
Oh, no.
So don't let her cry martyr because, he doesn't have room for me. It's like, I mean, we could make room. You might have like 20 pounds of pasta on your lap, but you just don't want to be there at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Nah, who wants that?
I mean, it's nice and peaceful, man. You can sit out there, you can meditate, hang out before it gets crazy, maybe have a couple of pops. So
you know what you should do? You know what you should do, man? You should think about doing a time lapse if you haven't done one. Just put a camera on top of the van and just let that sucker work and just show from the setup from beginning and even to include the teardown. And I bet that will be an excellent video if you haven't already done one.
So I wanted to do that, but then I use my cell phone to play music if we don't have a DJ, but I got a GoPro camera and I can set the GoPro up now to do that and mount that on the side of the van. So
yeah,
I'll probably do that this year coming up, just so everyone can kind of, see all the intricacies of what it takes to put this stuff on, because it ain't easy, but it's still a good time.
Definitely, man. Because I did a time lapse when I went out of town with the sunrise, and just to see, I was at a resort in Cancun, and just to see the sun come up and the workers, what they have to do at, I guess, dusk or not dusk, but dawn, and to see them moving around, and there's so much stuff that goes into the prepping of the day for a resort that you don't even know it. So I'd imagine yours is much more intricate. So I'd love to see that.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. We used to have a ton of people helping, but now it's just me unloading the van. And then I got people helping me cook whenever they show up, but it's just unloading that entire thing. I'm just glad that, luckily my back hasn't been thrown out yet and we should be good to go. But that's why I take preseason off, because I'm getting people messaging me. Are you tailgating for Kenny Chesney? Are you tailgating for this concert? Are you tailgating for the USA soccer games? Like, no, I'm not. Football season is all I do. And unless there's like a charity event or something going on, you ain't going to catch me.
You spoiled everyone. See what happened?
But if anyone is tailgating for that one preseason game, it's actually, man, it's so nice that we only have one preseason game to worry about instead of just wasting time up there. And a lot of people don't go to preseason, and I get it. Why waste the time in the summer? But we only get 10 home games. I'm going to beat every single one of them as long as I'm breathing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it only makes sense, especially right now. Me personally, I want to see Jaden as much as I possibly can. And if that means I'm not going to go to all the preseason games, but I may make a trip. Just maybe. I'm still debating it.
You're going to New York? You're going to go to Miami? Where you going?
Hey, I'm gonna leave it up in the air, and you'll see me when you see me. How about that? But I want to be able to see our offense work. If I could go to the joint practice, I would even try to do that. I really would, because this is a very exciting time for us, and I want to be able to take it all in, kind of like that time lapse video that we were talking about. I want to be able to see this from its infant stage up until the game day when we actually give birth to this kid. And so that's what I'm looking forward to doing, man. So I want to see as much as I can and soak it all in.
No, I agree with you. The frustrating part is, because it's the third preseason game, we're probably not going to see Jaden. He's going to be sitting. He's probably not going to be getting any reps, or if anything, maybe a drive. So, whatever they need to do to keep him healthy and make sure he's good. And we'll see what happens. I remember Robert's first year, 2012, and then that first game when they just kind of surprised us. So I'm not sure what we'll see, if anything, or what to expect when it comes down to it. I mean, the good news is the team finally signed kind of a deal with WUSA 9.
I saw that.
The official channel. They'll actually have content. I hope that means we're not going to have to go to YouTube for a post-game show. I mean, it was low rent. It was just amateur hour because they didn't have their contract with Monumental Sports anymore, Comcast Sportsnet. And you're trying to watch a post-game show, and no offense to what they were doing on YouTube, but I saw better stuff on, what was it? Like community channel TV. It was a little ridiculous.
Well, hey, man, as you can see, last year we were in the crawling phase. This year we're in the walking phase as far as the media is concerned. So I'd expect, like you said, better broadcast, better content, overall better everything, because we got an F last year on a lot of things.
F minus.
I'm sorry, F minus. You got to put that in there. And so we don't want that again this year, man. We're trying to be bigger and better. And I see I see it happening. And once again, it's happening right in front of our eyes, slowly but surely. So they're getting everything taken care of. It's just now, let's just do it.
Yeah, I see it too. And hey, Chick Hernandez, if you're watching and listening, or Wisdom, we got some history, man, from Fox 5. You guys know I can cook.
Good guys.
Hit me up. I've cooked in that kitchen before over at Channel 9. Annie, Allison, your boy's here. Number hasn't changed since what? I think the 5th grade. So give me a ring. Let me know what's going on. But one person we won't be seeing is Brandon McManus. So have you been keeping up with all the drama that happened with him?
Yeah, actually I have, man. And I gotta tell you, it was par for the course. I mean, based upon everything that this organization with the prior ownership went through, that still looms in the minds of people, and so they wanted to get ahead of it and go ahead and release him, which I don't blame them. I mean, you hate to see anybody get let go, but we understand why. Now, if by chance, he goes to trial or whatever have you, or nothing happens, then bring him back. If he's cleared, because he's at this point in time, he'd be innocent. So bring him back if that happens, and if he's not, then deal with the punishment as well. But you had to get in front of it and let him go before things got murky. What do you say?
So this is actually what Dan Quinn had to say, and I'll chime in after.
You guys had to make a change at kicker. If you can just kind of walk through that whole decision and the decision to let go of Brandon and
sure.
Then, signing the new guy.
Yeah, and I think number one, I think you guys would all understand this is under investigation, so I can't comment a lot. But what I can say is a little bit about what I told the team, and I think like most things, not necessarily related to this, but as a lesson, let's make sure you always let somebody know and tell. There's usually a whole bunch of people that want to be part of the solution. And so when you have that, whether that's for this team or any team or a parent, that kind of communication allows you to, come up with some solutions. So like I said, not, specific to this, but it was just a good lesson, to always have that conversation. It's usually much more difficult in your head than it is really having the actual conversation. And so just wanted to make sure I got a lesson out to the guys as we're going through it. So we did release Brandon. I found out some of the information on May 27th, and then we released him on June the 3rd.
So it's slightly frustrating because apparently McManus and his lawyer knew about this prior, and the team had no idea any of this was going on. Right. They decided not to re-sign Joey Sly. Sly's with the Pats now. And I'm not saying Sly was the best kicker, but he was a kicker and he was on the roster. I mean, we've had so much change at kicker since forever. It's kind of frustrating that we can't get that position down. Like kicker and quarterback, I mean, it's just been a rotating carousel, people coming in and out of that spot. And then you bring McManus in, he's on a 1-year deal. You say bring McManus back if everything comes okay. Zero chance. I hear you. There's zero chance McManus is going to want to come back. I mean, the way he and his lawyer are talking about this, saying that they're kind of, upset with the way the franchise held it. I mean, from the outside looking in, considering all the sexual harassment stuff that we just went through as a fan base, as an organization with Snyder, and this guy's being accused of sexually harassing these flight attendants. Granted, yes, when he was with Jacksonville, I mean, it's just a bad look. And I'm sure the team did their own investigation. It's like, we don't need this headache. This is new. I mean, we don't want any of that old drama to come back up again. So they let him go. And you know what? Innocent until proven guilty. Feel bad for the guy. They're still trying to see if he's going to get his signing bonus. I think it all just depends on what happens because he didn't let the cat out the bag ahead of time. Not sure, but they brought on Ramiz Ahmed. The guy is from the UFL. So he has.
Don't talk bad about the UFL.
Game.
Don't talk bad about the UFL.
The problem is he's only played one game in the NFL, right? And in the UFL, he actually wasn't on a roster because the NFL can't reach out to UFL players while the season's going on. So he played with Birmingham. He was 10 for 13. The 3 kicks he missed were 40-plus yarders. And guess who replaced him on Birmingham?
Who?
Chris Blewett. And
not that kid.
If you remember Blewett here, I mean...
He blew it here, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So it doesn't give me a lot of faith. And I get Ahmed went there because Blewett got hurt, and then Blewett came back, and he's healthy again, so they brought him back. But if Chris Blewett basically beats you out of a job, it doesn't leave me with the warm and fuzzies about how you're going to do this season here. And they're going to bring in kickers. It's going to be a competition.
Yes.
And I know a lot of fans are asking, well, this UFL kicker hit a 60-yarder. Why don't you bring him in here? This guy hit this guy hit that. It's because they can't. They're not allowed to go after UFL players because they're still under contract with the UFL. That season's still going on. So I got no doubt once training camp gets here, we're going to have some other guys come in. There's going to be a competition. I'm concerned because it's a huge point of this team. I mean, they're completely changing the kickoff rules. Like all this stuff is going on, and you got guys trying to practice that. And now, you're in limbo again with another position that is kind of key. I mean, I don't know how many times we lost close games a couple of years ago, just by 2-3 points.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the thing is, kickers are plentiful. And I think that what they will do is, as you said, they'll have a competition and they'll narrow it down. I am not worried about it. I think we've got bigger fish to fry. So I'm not worried about the kicker.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it yet. It is just annoying because we had a competent guy in Sly, and now he's playing for the Pats. So we're literally scraping the bottom of the barrel. I don't know if kickers are a dime a dozen, or else I think there'd be more. We wouldn't have this big a problem. And John Keim had a video from his X today out at OTAs showing Ahmed making a couple of kicks and this and that. But obviously, they're not going balls to the wall trying to block or do anything, and there's no pressure. So it's great right now that he's able to make a couple of kicks in practice, but
no pucker factor. Yeah, no pucker factor.
So we'll see how it goes. But the team did have OTAs today. And like I said, I'm out here at the beach, even though I'm out here, I'm listening to B. Mitch and Finley and the Junkies and everything else, trying to, stay on top of what's happening back home.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, JP Finley starts talking about there are 300 cars out here. And he's not sure what's going on. And then he talks to somebody, and I don't know if it was just someone in the parking lot or who it was. And JP asked the guy live on air, hey, are there fans coming out here today? And the guy, and you could hear him over the microphone say, yeah, we're expecting 300 people out here. So,
whoa.
Yeah. Next thing you know, X starts blowing up. All of these Commanders /Washington/Redskin Facebook groups and message boards start blowing up. The team sent us this letter. They're saying fans aren't allowed out there. What the hell's going on? So I reached out to a team rep immediately and said, hey, this just went over the airwaves. So if anyone is listening, and trust me, they are, people are getting pissed. So the clarification I got was it was 100 people.
I'm listening to this.
It was 100 people, not 300. And these were people that are sponsors. So if you are a sponsor, you got an allotment of people you could have come out. So, and that was just for today. And for next week, they're going to have 100 people if you own a suite. So if you own a suite, 5 people, however many ways they break it down, right? If you have a higher end suite, you probably get more people, right? If you got a lower end suite, maybe you get 2, but personally, I got no problem with that just because these sponsors are throwing out a ton of cash. I mean, let's just be realistic.
I hear you. And see, we talked about this our last pod. I said you can have people out there to do something, and whether it's sponsors, whether it's suite holders, whether it's 5 hypothetically lucky fans that you may have drawn out of a fishbowl. The fact of the matter is, people can come out there, because I said if the press can come out there, then you can allow everybody else. And you told me that they have to allow the press, which I said, okay. I said, okay, I got you. But if you have to allow the press, that means that people can come out there. Not that it's too dangerous, because if it was too dangerous, no one would be allowed to go out there. And so this just proves my point.
Yeah, I mean, 100 people, it's nothing, right? So when we were out there, and you guys, I mean, people saw the stands from training camp last year. It was packed. And let's just be real. If they would have let fans come out, everybody wants to see Jaden. That place would have been a madhouse.
If you
So,
didn't
I
get the
mean,
golden ticket, then you can't come. Yes,
I,
everybody
oh, I
wants to
get it.
see him. Yeah,
I
everybody
get
wants to
it.
see him.
And it'd be nice, if we could have got
Yeah.
a golden ticket. And if there are any sponsors listening to this, or if we have any people that own a suite and you're listening to this, I'm going to be back in DC next week. And I know Rally is. So we're happy to join you at OTAs, because it would just, I want to see Jaden in person. It's nice watching John Kimes' video or Nikki Javala's video, but I want to see that rocking arm, in person.
For yourself, exactly. And that just goes back to what I was saying as far as preseason is concerned. I want to be able to see him in person to make up my own mind of what I feel he is able to do. Not that I am an NFL analyst or anything, but I want to be able to do that myself.
Yeah, I mean, Jaden's our new quarterback, right? He's QB1, even though they haven't officially said it. So I want to actually catch it in person, but I know fans are going to be pissed off. And, you and I did not agree with the whole no fans at OTAs thing. I'm still fine with the team limiting it and doing it that way, because they've got like thousands and thousands of season ticket holders now that are parts of these different groups. So to me, it's super unfair of you send an email out, and if I'm looking at my email or on my phone, the second you send it out, and I'm one of those first 100 people that signs up, then I get to go. Unless it was truly randomized at that point, then, how else are you going to do it? But good news is they asked Coach Quinn about it today. And they also brought up the fact that, I mean, obviously you've been out there, I've been out there. I'm sure a bunch of our listeners have been out there.
Yeah.
They had that old field turf that the players didn't practice on. I mean, it was 30 years old. All it was basically a spot for them to host different people coming out. So they would put the hospitality tents out there.
Right.
Things like that.
Yeah.
That entire thing. Have you seen the picture?
I think I did see a picture. It's pretty torn up. Yeah.
I mean, they ripped the entire thing up. So they're going to make it an actual field, which is nice to see that that's what they're going to do, because it's just such a waste of space. And the turf itself, you could literally just stub your toe on it and then just trip. So imagine players were using that at times to walk around the fans, because they didn't want to walk through the kind of that little funnel path coming down that little gravel spot. So I remember a couple times, like Chase, when he wasn't playing, he wasn't practicing, would come walk around that way. And some of the other guys would walk back that way. I'm thinking to myself, okay, you're going to avoid us. Just don't pull a hammy or something when you're walking on that old ass turf.
Tear your ACL on turf.
That's the last thing we need.
That area was like you said, for hospitality, maybe a food truck, or maybe they had apparel sales, the little mobile apparel sales that they would be out there. So yeah, and I'm glad that they got rid of it, because F-, I guess that goes into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just little things here. And Dan Quinn talked about, Josh Harris and the new group investing money. And they're obviously doing it, because I've seen some other pictures of the facility that are not public on all the stuff that they're doing out there. And it's exciting to see. And I think it was Jahan Dotson during one of his press conferences. I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said he feels like he got traded to a new team, considering how different things are right now. And I think that speaks volumes. I mean, obviously he didn't, but with the new ownership, and Mrs. Harris, I can't think of her first name, but she did an interview a week ago talking about, all the different things and how they're basically making their own stamp on it this year, because last year they took over so late, didn't really get a chance to do a lot of stuff. They're doing a ton of things in the community. I mean, it's nice that it's been a year later and we're seeing market improvement versus, what had happened prior. And we were rock bottom. I mean, F-.
Yeah.
Now there's nowhere to go but up, and they're moving on up, man.
They are to the east side. They finally got a piece of the pie, as the Jeffersons would say, and I'm happy for them. I really am, because it's cliche, but they say if you look good, you play good. You feel good, you play good. Well, I think all that's in the mental aspect of things. Even though it's a practice field, they know what time it was. And speaking of practice fields, I heard that in Richmond, because the team isn't coming back, that they're allocating that for houses and some type of playground and something else that they're talking about, multi-use type of space. So we were talking about maybe them going back to Richmond, and that's poo-pooed. So anybody else that was thinking that, like me, who would love to go back down there for a camp or two, that's done. So that space down there will be used, multi-use space, and I want to say playground, houses, or something else like that. So, oh well.
I mean, it's such a massive amount of land out there that
Mm-hmm.
that place took up. So, I mean, the Bonsi Course facility. All I want to know is, I was a sucker. I bought one of those bricks that you could put your name on.
Yeah.
Right. So, what's going to happen to my brick? Is it going to be in someone's house?
Go get your brick, bro. Go get your
Hey,
brick. And you know what? What they should do is, you bring up a good point. What they should do is, instead of have the grass that for the fans to walk down at Loudon, put the bricks there so everybody can walk over the bricks from the time that you get off of the wooden steps all the way down. Now, I know that would cost a lot of money, but you paid for it. So,
I mean, fans would subsidize it if you could actually buy the bricks. And those that don't know, if you never went down to Richmond, they had a brick walkway and
Mhm.
you could put your name on a brick. Right. And then they had like Joe Gibbs was on a brick, and they had like old Washington players of legend on these different bricks. And then I always knew where my brick was because it was perpendicular to Coach Gibbs's brick, like just a couple spots over. So whenever I went down there for training camp, I'd always take a
Sweet.
picture of my brick and
Yeah.
just check it out. And it was just kind of something cool. So if they offered something like that in Ashburn, I'm sure that they would, people would buy them. I'm not sure if they're going to make that kind of investment, not knowing if they're going to stick around there. But I mean, they're making a big investment now with the new fields and everything else. So who knows? But shoot, I'd be a sucker again and shell out a couple $100 for a stupid ass brick to see, every couple times a year walking down a training camp.
That's how much they cost? A couple $100?
She wasn't cheap. I mean, it was definitely more than $100. So
Oh.
I had to ask and get approval from the missus because I don't want her to bitch at me. I was like, what the hell was this charge? Looking at the credit card bill from like some masonry company, like what in the world did you buy? So, but if
brick with
not,
my
I want
name
that
on
thing
it.
back, man. I think it was a couple $100. I'm not gonna frame it, but I'll put it like in a little glass case, and if I ever get a house with a fireplace, I'll put it over top of it.
Go get your brick, bro. It's yours.
All right, so I might need someone to bust me out of jail if I get caught taking that thing out of the
I
little
got you.
chisel.
I got you.
All right, you heard it here. Riley's going to bail me out just in case.
I got
Or
you.
I
got you.
Someone to be the lookout. And I'm not advocating people go out there and take their bricks back, but if someone wants to do it for me, I'll make you something at the tailgate.
Well, hey, I think that it's a done deal. Go get your brick. I'll ride down there with you.
Hey, I'm down for that. We can hit some ZZQ
Definitely.
while we're down there, because that's honestly what I missed. I did not enjoy going to Richmond. It was not fun for me just being that, because I wouldn't stay down there multiple days. I would go down and come right back. But for ZZQ, I'll crash out there. That's fine.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's some good Q, bro. Good Q. I like
it'll be interesting though.
I like the Tres Amigos.
Oh
That's
yeah,
a good sandwich. That's a great sandwich, man.
I think that's the one that was on the Food Network, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Oof. If you guys haven't been and you're down that way, you guys stop by because it was delicious. And
You got to do it.
wonder if we could open up an Ashburn branch. But we do have to, when we're back out of training camp, do a listener pod again out at that brewery that we were at last time.
I'd love to do that. And I as long as they gives us a thumbs up, definitely.
Well, the
because
brewery's been asking for us to come back. We just need the dates from the team on when training camp's going to be. So if any of you guys actually know what dates they are, I got to put in some vacation time on my calendar just to block that off to make sure that I'm able to get out there.
times two, bro. I definitely got to do it because I can't call in sick. And all of a sudden, the TV cameras catch me. That's a no-go. I'll forfeit
Just
the
don't wear
whole
the chain,
season.
man.
They still would know who I am. Everyone knows. It's almost like a Where's Waldo now. I can't go anywhere without someone spotting me. So that's just how it is.
Anyone say anything to you about your potential retirement announcement from the last pod?
Nah, no.
I
All
think
good
people are
things must
still in
come to an
shock.
end. all good things must come to an end, bro.
No, I'm still shocked, man. I'm still shocked about the potential retirement. But, trust me, I can't call in sick either because I've got no doubt that something would come up. And next thing you know, I thought you were sick. No, I'm not sick. I'm calling in football right now. You guys should know it's back.
I'm sick for football. They say PTO denied. See me back in my office ASAP. Well, I hear the music playing. A little shorter pod than normal, but hey, it's the off season. We wanted to give you something and versus nothing at all. That lets me know that we are bringing another episode to a close. If you know anything about training camp, let us know. We would love to accompany you because we're not on that list just yet. Ted, you gonna take us out?
Yeah, man. It would be nice if one of you guys were the suite. I mean, you actually had a boy invite you up to a suite last game. Remember? You were drinking up there with your pinky in the air, hanging out. Maybe hit him up. See if he can help us out.
You know what? That is a good idea. It's a good idea. I may try to hit him up.
Well, do that, and then hopefully we'll have an update for you guys by the next time we're back. But like Riley said, this is just short one this week just because luckily ain't a lot going on. So we hope you guys enjoyed your weekend. And I don't want to say Riley's trademark because I don't want to have to send him a Venmo dollar. So I'll let you carry that one.
Hey guys, you rep it hard or you don't rep it at all. Rally Captain, Tailgate Ted. That's going to do it for another edition of the DMV Mess Hall.